Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about recent shooting, the FedEx shooter. We're going to talk about it. We're going to hopefully, turn the ads off on this video.
If ads pop up, it is not us, it is YouTube.
Yeah, I did that before with Chadwick Boseman. I turned ads off on his video, and YouTube actually turned the ads back on.
Mm-hmm. So if there are ads, it is not us. We have turned them off.
No, so we're going to talk about this situation because the media is trying to tie this very heinous act to My Little Pony fandom.
Because the person who did it was apparently, a brony. And even though the media outlets admit that in the memo they were given that other than the police investigators were acknowledging that that's where he spent a lot of time. They were saying that they don't think there's a connection between that and the motivation. And they're all running with it. Oh, yep. AltRight Brony.
Yeah, because this is not the first time. We've done a video on this before that for a couple of years now, some media outlets have been trying to paint My Little Pony fans, bronies, as being alt-right.
Yeah, it's because, and I know why, it's because our one friend who used to be, in that community, someone did an Aryan pony, and I think it was a joke, or
yeah.
I don't think it was meant to be like, oh my God. And even if it was that one person being a dick. And because of that, don't you know, now all bronies are alt-right Yahtzees because of that. That's like when anytime you complain about Star Wars, because of you, Kelly Marie Tran left social media. It's the same kind of thing. It's just, an excuse to try to label everyone and paint them with a broad brush because you don't like something they did or one person did.
Yeah, so now they've got their proof because this has been going on for like 2 years now that they've been painting bronies with that brush, and now unfortunately we had an incident, and I gotta wonder. This is kind of like the PewDiePie situation where they think the shooter in New Zealand was trying to just latch on to PewDiePie and go out with as much as he could, taking as many, name checking as many people as he could. And PewDiePie got sucked into that. And I got to wonder if, that's not kind of what happened here. Like,
I think this person, I don't know so much of the case other than they clearly have an unhealthy obsession with Applejack in particular.
Applejack.
And even like the final comments, I don't know if that's the same thing. It seems like this person was just disturbed, and by the history of it, his mom had turned him in before,
we're gonna talk about that.
And tried to get help for the situation, and then they kept like, oh, we can't find anything here to keep him on, so... But anyway,
Equestria Daily actually picked it up. Equestria Daily is a big brony site, My Little Pony fan site. Mm-hmm. They've also been kind of keeping tabs on all these media outlets calling pony fans alt-right. So here we go. The Indianapolis FedEx mass shooter was apparently a brony and obsessed with Applejack. You didn't read that headline incorrectly. We have some horrible news coming out of the Indianapolis shooting that went down the other day. Apparently, the former employee and gunman was a fan of Friendship is Magic, and more specifically, Applejack, who was the focus of his final message on his Pony Focus Facebook page an hour before the shooting. This is a quote from the Wall Street Journal, who were given access directly from an internal Facebook memo from 2 accounts they deleted. I hope that I can be with Applejack in the afterlife. My life has no meaning without her. If there's no afterlife and she isn't real, then my life will have never mattered anyway. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So clearly this person has some major issues going on. Did they bring it up too? My God. Yeah. You know what? Fuck you, media. I'm sorry, Mom. Just fuck you.
The Wall Street Journal said they brought up the far right side of the fandom that caused the stir last year. They could not find any correlation between the two.
They can't find any correlation because there doesn't necessarily mean to be. I know this other article right here, up here. This one my friend sent me today. And here's the thing, that we talk about how his mom had contacted law enforcement last March of 2020. So more than a year ago. So that they thought he was going to try to do suicide by cop. So clearly there was a history of something they were concerned about. They were taken into custody. They said they met the criteria to be involuntary committed. Then he was interviewed by the FBI, and no racially motivated violent extremist ideology was identified during his assessment. Okay.
Right.
So now, because of this memo, that they've been given, they're going to turn it into about how, we don't have a reason to think it's this. They even say this in the memo.
Yeah.
They have no reason to think it's because of this. But the media is going to say it's because of this, because fuck yeah, of course they are.
Yeah, Brony online culture has displayed elements of far-right and white nationalist extremism.
Any fandom has people in it that have extremists. And I've seen a lot of fandoms that have far-left nuts that chase people off of social media and threaten their wife and child. But and it says, I want to point out, it says, but there is no clear indication those were motivations in the shooting, the memo said. It says that repeated. They bring it up a couple times. After they kind of basically, low-key, insinuate it's because of bronyism and being all right and white and nationalist, then they'll say, but there's no indication of that. The FBI clearly didn't think there was an indication of a racially motivated anything. And it's because 4 of the victims were part of a religious group. And, I think they're trying to paint it to be a racially motivated incident. And it might be, but we don't know that. And they're going to tie it to this instead. It just sounds like there's a lot of people in the community that are part of this group that, just happened to, work at that location. Yeah. We don't know yet. And it's totally possible it could be racially motivated. But the FBI didn't seem to think he was racially motivated last year. And now they're going to do everything they can to make it's My Little Ponies and Brony's fault.
Yeah, because look, they've been case building. This is the same with gamers. They've been case building for years. Basically, they're like, oh, we're seeing something we don't like here. We don't like this. And it's so weird because the show's off the air. It's been off the air. And
they're bringing it back, and people are really not liking it because they're really going off the deep end with, the inclusion and diversity stuff. Like everything else is going off that way. So, of course, they are too. And a lot of people aren't even interested in the new show.
The thing about the show is the whole message of the show is everybody getting along. That's literally the whole message of this show. And it had a lot of male friends who watched it ironically. Originally, they were like, oh, this is so stupid. We're going to watch it.
They did. And then they liked it.
They're like, wow, it's actually a pretty good show.
And then it ended up into this culture of bronies. And are there extremists among them? I am sure there are. There always are. I don't care what fandom it is. But the extremism goes both ways. And for every one person that's extreme one way, there's always people that are extreme the other way. But you never hear about the extremists on the other side, no matter what shit they pull.
And they've been trying the media's been trying to get PewDiePie for years. And of course, they tie him to the shooter in New Zealand too, because, he had some manifesto, incomprehensible stuff that he wrote. And a lot of it was probably just to name check as many things as he could to get media attention or whatever the motivation was. It's hard to tell with people.
We weren't even going to cover this because I don't think it's right to cover things like what happened on, our channel or on YouTube. That's what we turned ads off for sure. But because the media, once again, is trying to turn it into something that, by their own admission on the memo, they don't have any connection to it other than the fact that he was a fan. They don't even know if they're connected.
You're not going to hear that. What you're going to hear is just wait a few weeks. You're going to hear, oh my God, the toxic brony fans, they created this. The warning signs were there. The far left media outlets like The Atlantic, they've been trying to warn us for years, and this is what happened.
There are a lot of bronies who are not white, straight, and male.
Yeah.
Well, they're male usually because they're bronies, but you know what I'm saying. They're not all white and straight, and the thing is, there's a lot of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic fans that are women too. That are non-binary or whatever. There's a diverse group of people who are fans of the show. I personally still prefer G1. The piggy ponies, as they like to call them.
The piggy ponies.
You can take that and stick it up your butt, because I hate that you call it piggy ponies, because those are the original OG bestest ponies, and you can suck it. Anyway, now that I said that, I'm probably going to be on some other list. So I'm just like, this is ridiculous. So now, don't you know, if you like Friendship is Magic, or you happen to say you're a brony, you are now considered alt-right, because the media has decided that they're going to take these connections of things and just tie them together to make it that way, even though they admit in the same article, there's no evidence to suggest that that is the case.
Yeah, My Little Pony is a literal hate movement. A show about magical, pastel-colored ponies.
About friendship,
and harmony.
acceptance.
Acceptance is now a literal hate movement.
That's right, because the media has been trying to paint it that way for years, and because one person did something terrible, who seems like he was very disturbed.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: sometimes with these cultures, these fan groups, especially when they're very, very accepting, people who might be a little bit having problems of their own, are drawn to that because they know they're going to be accepted. And so when and I'm not saying don't accept people. I'm always for accepting people. I'm just saying that sometimes accepting groups draw these people in.
Yeah.
So what happens is when something bad happens, they blame everyone, and it just could be that he went there because he liked it. It could be he went there because he felt accepted. Who the hell knows? But it doesn't necessarily mean that because he liked Applejack, that he went out and did what he did.
Yeah. It's horrible. It's horrible if this happened, but again, we know that the case building's been there. It doesn't surprise me at all that we're gonna see some more media sites run with it and just be like, the bronies are toxic. We've been telling you, using people's death to be like, I told you so, I told you so, I told you so.
Well, something else that's worth mentioning in all of this, that's even, I think, something more important even, is the fact that his mom kept trying to get help for the situation, and nothing was really done. And it just seems like this, I hear this a lot, because they will not address mental health issues in this country like they should address mental health issues in this country. Yeah. And I think had this person been given the help they needed, maybe we wouldn't be in this situation, because it seems like his mom turned him in, trying to get him help, over a year ago. And now he's gone, and so are a bunch of other people who are dead or injured. And, it could have completely been avoided.
Yeah, it's horrible.
They don't address mental health issues in this country as they should.
And you look at so many of these incidents, and they're in hindsight, it's 2020, but you see that there were clearly problems. Mm-hmm. In so many cases, so many of these things that happen, you can look back and be like, this person was clearly disturbed, clearly needed help, did not get the help they needed. Now, unfortunately, other people had to pay for that.
Right.
And
it does seem like the mom did what she was trying to get, she did what she should do. She turned him in to the police. The FBI came in. He wasn't given his gun back, but, they said that there was no racially motivated, violent, extremist ideology identified in him by the FBI. Yeah. They're saying that in the article, and later saying, but he's part of the Brony community that some consider alt-right. But that doesn't prove anything. Then why mention it?
Because it's sensationalist.
Right.
It's they're
when they go about fake news outlets or news outlets that, are shouldn't be trusted, then they target people like us. We're not out there, conflating the two.
And all it takes is one or two outlets to run with the story for everybody else to believe it. And so you say enough times, gamers are bad people, they're alt-right. Star Wars fans are bad people, they're alt-right. My Little Pony fans are bad people.
Pretty much any fandom ever that doesn't agree with them, they're alt-right.
Except the Raylos.
Yeah, but I love this. Raylos are every bit as toxic, if not more so. Some of these cartoon shippers are some of the worst people I've seen, as far as some of the things they do and what their thought process. I mean, if you're going to make a case for some mental health issues and how they should be addressed in this country, look no further than some of these shippers. But I mean, they were bullying Adam Driver's spouse off of social media, and he had to hide that he had a kid, that they had a little boy,
that's crazy.
Because they wanted him with Daisy Ridley. It's like,
who was also taken.
You never hear about that.
No.
But anytime someone doesn't like a Star Wars film, it's because they're alt-right and they're toxic fans, and they're because they clearly are if you don't like it, you're clearly those things. Meanwhile, you have this other sect of fans that do far more toxic things, but that's okay because they're on the left. I don't even know. It doesn't even make sense. But conflating the two, we don't even know yet. Is it possible they're connected? It could be. But by their own admission, by their own memo, and by what they're going by now, and by the FBI's, when they investigated and looked into it previously, they don't think he's racially motivated, and I don't think they think that there is. But the media has decided, and it might turn out to be true, but we don't even know yet, and they're already going with it.
Yeah. And I think we're going to see a lot of this in the coming weeks because it makes good clickbait. That, My Little Pony fans, look how cute it is. Oh, God, they're all a bunch of Nazis.
I can't even. I mean, it could be true, but we don't even know yet.
Yeah.
So, anyway, there you have it.
Gonna wrap it up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Usually we don't do videos this dark or this serious, but we have been following the situation with Brony fandom being painted in a negative light,
Right.
and this is just more fuel.
And it's absolutely terrible. This stuff keeps happening.
It's horrible.
And I'm just, our thoughts and prayers go out to the people that were, that were the victims of this, the family of the person that did it. It's just a terrible, terrible thing. And it's another case of where, they really need to look at mental health in this country and they need to do more about it. And they're not.
Yeah.
And when they're, because, that costs money. Well, sometimes you need to spend the money. So they need to do something.
All right, guys. We'll talk to you later.
Yep. Bye.